Hello again, this is Danny Jeffries from here on Tractor Precision Ag. So we're out in the demo plot once more here again in Exeter. Really starting to sweat now as we get into the afternoon, but that's besides the point. So here we have the row unit on this 1795 planter. We're on the rear rank here right now, but so we want to have a bit of a conversation about downforce margin or gauge wheel margin. And so there's a differentiation here, some definitions to make. So when we talk about applied downforce, that's the amount of force that's being applied by our individual row hydraulic downforce. Now our gauge wheel margin is the amount of margin or load that is on our gauge wheels as we're planting. And so these are two very different measurements. And we want to see two very different things happen out of those two measurements. So gauge wheel margin is something that we want to maintain and we want to be consistent with. It's what's allowing us to hit our target depth with our planting, whereas our individual row hydraulic downforce is going to be variable. We want to see that go up and down depending on soil conditions. So if we get into some tougher, heavier parts of the farm, we want to see that downforce, applied downforce, increase in order to maintain our amount of down gauge wheel margin. And so today in the field here, you can see we're in some tilled ground. We do have a lot of residue here in the field, but this has actually been disc ripped where we are. It happened in January, and then we've cultivated it here this spring. And we're running 120 pounds of downforce margin currently. We started with 100 as a set point and decided we needed a little bit more based on what Connect Mobile was telling us in the cab about our ground contact, as well as what we were observing in the field in terms of hitting target depth. So one of the things we're checking for in the field is we want to see if we can move these gauge wheels without too much effort, but we don't want them to be too tight or too loose. We kind of want a happy medium of being able to move these gauge wheels. And that tells us that we should be maintaining and hitting target depth. And so obviously we can verify that. So we've been digging for seed and checking our depth, making sure we're getting these soybeans into moisture. And so we've attempted to, we've got our planter set at 2¼ inches. And so there we have some soybeans down in the ground there, and we're about at where our target depth is. And we're also into moisture where we want to be. That's the most important thing when it comes to beans in order to get them germinated well. So that's a bit of a discussion about gauge wheel margin.